Hello! You are about to hear a Christmas story that someone shared anonymously, saying that these traditions were always part of his family and no one ever questioned them. They don't sound scary. They don't even sound strange at first. That's exactly why they stayed. So grab a drink, get comfortable, and let's start it. There are some things families do every Christmas that no one ever questions. Not because they make sense, but because they've always been done that way. Every family has traditions like that. Small rules, unspoken habits, things you follow without asking why. This story is about three of them, and how, for years, we never questioned a single one. Tradition 1. No one eats until everyone is seated. At our house, Christmas dinner was always ready early. The food would be on the table, plates warm, candles lit, everything exactly how it should be. And yet, no one would touch anything. We would just sit there, hands folded, looking at the food, looking at each other, waiting. Someone would eventually ask, "Should we start?" And the answer was always the same. "Let's wait until everyone's here. It's tradition." What made it strange was that everyone was already there. At least that's what it looked like. But every year, there was always someone we were waiting for. No one ever said who. Sometimes 10 minutes would pass, sometimes 20. The food would cool, the silence would stretch, and no one complained because it was Christmas and because it was tradition. I remember being a kid, watching the steam fade from my plate, feeling hungry but afraid to move, not because anyone told me not to, but because no one else did. Looking back, that was the first thing we never questioned. Tradition 2. No one leaves the table before the toast. Even after we finally started eating, there was another rule. No one got up, not to use the bathroom, not to answer the door, not even to grab something forgotten in the kitchen. You stayed seated until the Christmas toast. Every family does a toast, right? But ours never happened right away. Someone would clear their throat, lift their glass slightly, then hesitate and lower it again. We would wait, children shifting in their seats, adults forcing polite smiles, everyone pretending everything was fine. If someone stood up too quickly, there would be looks. No words, just looks. And the person would quietly sit back down. Eventually, someone would say, "Just wait, we'll do it in a minute." It always sounded reasonable. That's the thing about traditions. They always do. Tradition 3. There was always an extra chair. Every year, the table was set for one more person than needed. An extra plate, an extra glass, an extra chair, slightly pulled back. No one ever sat there. Not guests, not kids, not new partners. Once a cousin tried. She didn't even sit fully, just rested a hand on the chair, and my mother shook her head. Not aggressively, not angrily, just gently. "That one stays empty," she said. "It's just a tradition." That phrase came up a lot. Just a tradition. The chair was never explained, never acknowledged, never mentioned again. It simply existed, like something we all agreed not to see. The years passed. As I got older, I stopped noticing how strange it all was. That's how it works. If you grow up inside something, you assume it's normal. Every Christmas, the same routine. The waiting, the silence, the chair. Friends would talk about their family traditions, games, laughter, chaos. Ours was quieter, controlled, careful, and no one ever questioned it. The year everything felt different. It was the first Christmas after my grandmother passed away. She had been the center of everything, the one who enforced the rules without ever raising her voice. Without her, things felt looser. The food was ready early, like always. We sat at the table, like always, and we waited. But that year, someone asked the question, my younger cousin, "Who are we waiting for?" The room froze, not dramatically, just enough to notice. My uncle laughed it off. "Oh, that's just how we do it." But no one else laughed. The extra chairs sat there, empty, pulled back, watching. The interruption. Later that night, right before the toast, something happened that never had before. My brother stood up, not abruptly, not angrily. He just stood. "I need some air," he said. And for the first time, no one stopped him. He walked away from the table, down the hallway, toward the front door. We all sat there, waiting, just like we always did. Minutes passed. 5, 10, no sound. Finally, my mother stood up, and that's when she said it. "He's doing it again." Again. The truth we never questioned. Years ago, before I was born, there had been another Christmas, another dinner, another table, and another chair. That night, someone stood up before the toast. An argument followed, quiet at first, then louder, and then the person left. They didn't come back that night, or the next, or ever. The family never talked about it, never reported it, never explained it. They just adjusted. They waited before eating, so no one would leave too early. They delayed the toast, so everyone would stay seated. They left the chair empty, so no one would forget or replace them. The traditions weren't about Christmas. They were about guilt. The ending. My brother eventually came back inside. Cold, quiet. He sat down. No one said anything, and the toast finally happened. Glasses raised, words spoken. The chair stayed empty, like it always had, like it always would. And for the first time, I realized something. We didn't keep those traditions because they were meaningful. We kept them because questioning them meant asking what really happened. And some families would rather repeat a ritual forever than admit they lost someone and never went looking. Some traditions exist to bring people together. Others exist to keep the truth seated at the table, silent, like it never left.